Salutations, everybody. It is Maddie here today, and we're here on the eve of the Game Awards. And you know what that means? Who gives a damn what the game of the year is? We're talking about trailers, gameplay, and what awaits us in 2022 and beyond. So, ladies and gentlemen, we know that Xbox has a history of showing up at the Game Awards. Their strongest presence yet was in 2019, the beautiful couple of the Xbox Series X and Hellblade 2 in tandem, arm in arm, showing up and saying, we're here, baby. And now, in 2021, it appears like Xbox is set to have another strong presence at the Game Awards. So we're going to be going over all of that. If you're new here, as we round out 2021, consider subscribing. We haven't even gotten started yet. When you really look at Xbox's roadmap, there's so much exciting stuff in 2022 awaiting us. So subscribe, and we'll discuss it all then. For now, let's talk about the Game Awards, where the rumors are really heating up, beginning with a clip from my buddy Geoff Grubb on his Games Beat Decide show, where he sat down to talk about the likelihood of Hellblade 2, Avowed, and even the last night showing up. So let's take a listen, and then we'll discuss.
Dr. Butthugger says, last Games Beat before Game Awards, what games have you heard will be shown during the ceremony? Geoff, I know that you're probably holding on to all these juicy details for the next Grub Snacks, so maybe you can throw us a little more.
I was gonna start looking around for the next Grub Snacks beginning like this weekend and stuff. So I still haven't done, or I haven't heard much. I'm leaning towards Hellblade 2 still being there because I just haven't heard anything to the contrary. Maybe Avowed. Jedi Fallen Order 2, maybe, but probably not until next year, actually. So that one's, I'm like, I thought that like maybe that might make sense for this, but no, that seems like we're gonna start hearing about that early next year instead. That game's still supposed to come out late next year. So, but yeah, I don't know. I think that the last night is one that I think might be there. I asked around about it. That game, I'll be surprised if it actually ever ends up coming out, but I think we might get another trailer for it. And the last night, for people who are unaware, is that cyberpunk-looking indie game. That it looked gorgeous, but then it had like the creator got in trouble for around 2014 for supporting Gamergate and a bunch of stuff like that. So then we haven't heard about it since, and he broke up with the publisher, and now he's supposed to be publishing it himself, or maybe he's going to get another publisher. So there's just it's a big mess. But the game looks really pretty and shows.
We had Geoff Grubb on Defining Duke a number of weeks or months ago, actually, at this point in time, and towards the tail end of the show, it's funny, we started talking about Hellblade 2 and the pretty strong likelihood it had of showing up at the Game Awards, right? It's funny, not a lot of people caught that since it was at the end of the show. Shout out to the outlets that did cover it, like VGC, salute to them. But it's funny that we've talked about this, and it's coming up again. Jez Corden has even reported as much, like Hellblade 2 being at the Game Awards seems to be the worst kept secret, if you will, in the terms of re-reveals. I think it's time, right? It's been time for a long time in my head when it comes to Hellblade 2. If you remember my E3 predictions, I thought Hellblade 2 was going to be there. I was really adamant, like, it's time. It's time. I feel like, again, it's the one I'm just kind of throwing on the board going, it's time. Oh, not this show? Kind of like Hogwarts Legacy. It's like, okay, then the next show. See you then. I feel like Hellblade 2 is long overdue. But we also got to talk about Avowed, which Geoff Grubb said a maybe to. I feel really confident about Avowed. Not because I have inside information. This is all speculitis. Let me make that clear. But when we look at this little clip here from Xbox Wired, which to me suggests pretty heavily that Avowed will be shown off this year when they write, for those who are wondering about Avowed, the team is hard at work making something we're sure fans of our games in the Pillars of Eternity universe are going to love. While we're not showing anything right now, we are looking forward to showing off what we have been working on soon. And we've passed the anniversary, we've passed Xbox Gamescom, we've passed so many showcases. I'm of the mindset that if Xbox is going to wait till E3 next year, we need to have a little talk about what soon is to you, because to me, soon's like at least within the calendar year. Hell, half a year, I wouldn't even qualify as soon. So there may have been some internal miscommunication there on when this will actually be shown off, and certainly there's no rush given that Avowed has been reported to release in 2023. But as an Obsidian freakazoid, oh my own, they also have a history at the Game Awards showing off for the first time ever The Outer Worlds. I remember them teasing that right ahead of the Game Awards. So it's really exciting to know there's this sort of a stars aligning moment here for Xbox, for Obsidian. All the timing just feels right. And there's also the potential of the last night. This is a game that I remember seeing this at, I want to say E3 2018. And man, did that really capture me. This beautiful cyberpunk looking pixel art game. If y'all don't know, pixel art just speaks to my soul. I think it's the best aging art style. It's just so pretty no matter what year it is. And this game looked incredible, and I knew nothing about it. And I know it looks incredible because as someone who has typically Swiss cheese memory, the fact that that has stayed glued in my head for all these years, and that I remember that reveal so well, that's how much it captured the imagination for me, and I just can't wait to see more. As Geoff said in his clip, will it ever come out? We don't know, right? Seemingly being self-published. Hopefully they found a way if they're going to show another trailer, but this would be another hopefully great get for Xbox. I've learned my lesson on games that looked great. I think of The Ascent, where I thought that looks really good, and it didn't play, in my opinion, all that well. But man, if The Last Night is real, that might be the one I'm most excited about currently, because I just always will remember that reveal. But let's rewind a little bit. I want to start off at the top again. Let's talk Hellblade 2, because the last time that we heard about this game, maybe a little bit more indicative of when a reveal could happen, because Geoff didn't say, hey, for sure, it's rumored right now, but a lot of insiders have felt pretty confident about it. But here's the last thing we heard about it officially from Ninja Theory. This comes from BGC, where they write, the last major news about the game came in June this year when developer Ninja Theory released a new behind-the-scenes trailer. This came from the extended E3 showcase. The video was presented by Chief Creative Ninja Tamim, who explained how the team has been hard at work to make something special. What we're doing right now is building a good, chunky slice of the game before we then move into full production to build out the rest. Hellblade was something very special for us, and we didn't want to do a straight sequel. We wanted to do something extra special, and so we're making our lives as difficult as possible in that pursuit. The game is set in 9th century Iceland, so we've been sending our art and audio teams out there to do photography, photogrammetry, and combining it with satellite data to recreate large swaths of the landscape. On the character front, we're building real costumes, scanning them in. We're collaborating with Epic Games to bring you next-generation digital characters. On the combat front, we wanted to be extra real and brutal. And so Melina, our main actress, has been training for 2 years, and all of our animators have undergone combat training. I don't mean to laugh, just like, that's so extra, but I love it. I love that. That's a passionate creative team right there. So I can't wait to see Hellblade 2 just based off of that. I mean, I loved the first Hellblade. You can go watch my review of it. I adored it. So to know that they're going above and beyond for the sequel, and based off their satellite data and large swaths of landscape, I imagine this will be probably open world. It seems safe to assume based off what was said here, but I can't wait to see what they're doing here. And I don't know if these are the only games that'll be shown off for Xbox or PlayStation, whatever's happening with Nintendo, because Geoff Keighley had some very interesting words about the type of reveals that'll be here at the Game Awards. And I understand he's a bit of a hype beast that's coming from one hype beast to another, so look, no harm, no foul on that one. But Geoff Keighley, I feel like he understands when he now has a really good announcement. Like, he understood when he had Breath of the Wild. He understood when he had Elden Ring. And so here's an interesting comment from him about the status of some of the reveals that will be here at the Game Awards, where he says, that was 2 or 3 years in the making. Every show got questions about it, and even last year's Game Awards, people really wanted something. It won most anticipated, but they really weren't ready. There was a lot of build-up pressure. And that's the thing I think people don't realize. The things they want, sometimes developers just aren't ready to show them. There will be things again this year, I'm sure, where it's like, we want to show things, but they're not ready. I was very happy because the trailer was great. It was a great asset, a highly anticipated game that really delivered. There were a lot of things that were good about that. So yes, I was uniquely excited to be able to bring that to people. This year, oh God, there are probably 4 or 5 things of that level. I can't wait to show people this stuff. Summer Game Fest was a new thing that I had created. The fact that From Software had bet on me and Summer Game Fest, where they could have done more traditional E3 stuff, that meant a lot to me. It was a huge honor to work with the From guys, so stay tuned. There may be more coming. So yeah, Elden Ring, couple months out, it makes sense to have a trailer there. But to say, oh God, there are probably 4 or 5 things of that level of Elden Ring, that's a really bold statement when you think about it. I mean, there has never been, in my opinion, a showcase that I've watched where as it's happening, we see Twitter like ramping up and exploding with hype based off, like, Geoff was smart during that. He was dropping teasers all show about what was going on. with Elden Ring and letting people know. And I saw Twitter build up and build up. And then when it finally got revealed, it was a massive explosion of hype for a ton of people there. So what's different here is there isn't that build up. A lot of people don't know what that's going to be. So I feel like just by default, it may not reach that Elden Ring level. But then again, I rack my brain on big reveals he could have. Maybe Hellblade 2 is one of them. I think of something along the lines of Breath of the Wild 2. What else could be there, though, that is on the level of Elden Ring that hasn't been shown yet? I think it's way too soon for Starfield, and we already know Todd Howard likes to do the 30-minute gameplay reveal, so I can't imagine it's that. It's way too far out for something like Elder Scrolls 6. I think Fable's a lock for next year's E3. Otherwise, that's also too soon to show off gameplay when a lot can change between now and then, let alone E3 next year to 2023. There's so many different options there, and likely what's happening here is it's one we don't know. And that's also really exciting because that's just a win in its own. Like, I love the surprise of what is this? I think of the PlayStation showcase where Wolverine showed up and you're like, yo, okay. And I know some people would think I'd go to KOTOR remake, but I had an inkling that was coming. So for me, it's like Wolverine was that, okay, icing on the cake type of moment here. And I just can't wait to see what's there. We have an inkling that Sonic will be there. Sonic apparently purchased extra tickets there, and I begrudgingly played Sonic Adventure for the first time this year and enjoyed it. So suddenly, like, I kind of am interested in what Sonic is up to. I don't know why that's happened. There's been a lot of changes with my body this year. I don't know. I might be going through puberty again. Who the hell knows? But yeah, I just thought this would be a fun little conversation to go through some of the things that are coming up for Xbox and what you can expect to see there. For what it's worth, you know, Avowed is one that I feel confident in speculitis, but in the terms of reports, like, I'd also heard stuff about Hellblade 2, but I mean, the more legitimate reporters, let's be honest, have already reported that stuff, so it's just, mine's another drop in the bucket at this point. But it seems like Hellblade 2 is really likely, and I'm very excited to see what that's turned into. And when exactly that's going to come out, the reports have been 2023, so I wonder if they're going to try to pull a kind of a God of War moment there with PlayStation, where they're like, yeah, it's coming out this year. No, it's not. No, it's not. So I'm wondering how they're going to handle that, because that's an ability to fill out the calendar artificially and let people know, like, ah, something's coming. Oops, plans change. So, hey, we'll see. Anyway, I'm rambling at this point in the video, so it's time for me to cut it off. I'm looking forward to seeing your thoughts on all of this in the comments down below, so please do fire away. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support the content here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.